what is the point of contacting the Nigerian embassy in Cotonou, Benin? I'm sure if you don't send an email in advance, they might allow you, but if they tell you to bring $500 now, don't say Funke didn't tell you. I did. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If it's your first time here, welcome. My name is Sassy Funke and I'm a Nigerian travel and lifestyle content creator. I'm also the founder of Travel to Niger. Travel to Niger is the #1 trusted platform for traveling to Nigeria. Right now though, on our Instagram page, we are sharing a lot of information about evacuation flights because we know there's so many people out there that are actually stuck abroad and can't find their way back. And to be honest, the Nigerian government hasn't been really that good in terms of sharing information to citizens. So that's what's on Travel to Nigeria right now on our Instagram page. So if you're stranded, you know someone is stranded and you want to get on an evacuation flight, whether that's from UK, US, China, India, wherever, make sure you follow Travel to and turn your notifications on. I look forward to having you on there. I recently filmed a video about how to travel back to Nigeria through Cotonou, Benin during this pandemic, because the border in the Cotonou, Niger border is basically open and people can travel through it. So I recently sort of went through that and explained that to you. I'm gonna leave the link up there if you missed that. So following that video, I received so many DMs. Like, you guys went to my Sassy Funke's, my Instagram page, you're dropping me questions. You went to my Travel to Niger, you're dropping questions. Some of these questions, the answers are actually in the video that I did, but I understand how sometimes it's, we find it tough to basically go through a video and find the answers we need. So I'm gonna do you, the favor and basically answer some of these questions again that have answers in the video. But a lot of the other questions are questions that have popped up that are not in the video. So I really hope you enjoy this video, and I really hope you appreciate the fact that I'm creating this video. So you subscribe if you're new, and you also give this video a huge thumbs up. Let's get this to 200 thumbs up in an hour or something. Yes, let's do that. So let's get straight into the Q&A. I have my questions here on my phone, so I'm just gonna look at them and basically go through them. First question is, do I have to isolate at the government isolation facility in Nigeria for 14 days, or can I self-isolate at home? Okay, so I know the reason why they're asking this. For context, if you're being evacuated back to Nigeria, you're arriving back in Nigeria, a couple of months ago, the government basically had a mandate whereby you would isolate in the government facility. The government would basically take you from the airport and put you in a facility for 14 days. No, that's not happening anymore. The government has completely changed that. That's it's not happening. Now they expect you to actually self-isolate at home for 14 days. And how do they sort of make you do that? They actually keep your passport. You don't get your passport back until after the 14 days if you're negative for COVID, but I'll dive into that later. So the answer to that is no, you don't have to isolate at a government's isolation facility in Nigeria. You can self-isolate at home, which just means you go home for 14 days. Yeah. Number 2, many of us are stuck in Russia. How do we get on an evacuation flight? So I've received many messages from people that are stuck in different countries across the world. Some countries whereby maybe there's Oman or Indonesia, and they're like, as in, there's no evacuation flight for us. What's happening? I personally don't know what is happening, but from what I've seen from the Minister of Foreign Affairs and from the NIDCOM, the Diaspora Committee, it's really important if you want to be evacuated that you actually email the closest embassy to you, right? So if you're in Russia, look at the closest embassy in Russia, which city it's in, and email them that you want to be evacuated. Because what happens is the embassies themselves, after they've gathered the numbers and said, the 100 people in Russia that are trying to leave, they then negotiate with the airline to basically have, create fares and create a schedule for you to go back. But if there are not enough people saying, I'm here, please, come on, I want to go back home, they're not going to create a flight for you. So you need to basically signal and inform your embassy that there is a demand for this evacuation flight. That's what's really important. Yeah. Someone said, okay, how can I get on an evacuation flight? So I guess the question here is, you know, there are evacuation flights being planned, like, you know, a lot is in the US, UK, a lot of flights are going back from UK, from the US, from Dubai, and you're wondering how do you get on it. I would advise you follow Travel to Nigeria. I know this is self-promotion, but you know, it's my channel, but follow Travel to Nigeria on a serious note, because we're literally one of the first people, if not the first, to basically report that there's an evacuation flight happening. So a lot of our followers actually get on those flights ASAP because they get notified first. So follow Travel to Nigeria and turn on your notifications so that you're the first to basically get this information and you can rush right away and book. Yes, okay. Someone else asked, when is the next evacuation flight to Nigeria? Still the same thing. The next evacuation flight to Nigeria, depending on the country or the city you're in, try and follow Travel to Nigeria. Like, we tend to put evacuation flights for different cities, different countries on the Instagram page. And also, if you go on the Instagram page, there's a section where we have highlights for different countries. So if you want to easily find the next evacuation flight, you can click on the highlights to locate it, because it might be hard trying to go through all the posts. So follow Travel to Nigeria is the answer to that too. Next question, should I wait till international borders open, or should I just go ahead and pay the high cost of an evacuation flight? I think it really depends, right? Because first of all, international borders opening, we do not know when, right? There's been insinuations that it's going to open in October. We're in July, August, October. Yeah. So it really depends on you, right? If you want to wait till possibly October and that's okay for your schedule, wait, because I agree that the cost of the flights are quite expensive for the average person. And a lot of people that are buying this evacuation flights have return leg tickets that they've not used, you know what I mean? So it's a lot to spend so much money again. So I think it depends on your personal circumstance and your need to be back in Nigeria. If there is no need to be back in Nigeria and you are comfortable and can afford where you're staying and you're legally, you know, there, I don't see any issue or any need to rush back, but it's really case by case basis, to be honest. The next question, can I get a refund on my evacuation flight if my COVID results doesn't come back in time? This, I actually believe you can get a refund if you inform the airline before takeoff. So for example, if you know your COVID results are going to come back like 3 days before the flight leaves, tell the airline. They can probably find someone to fill your seat. Yeah, so I think it's definitely possible, but it can't be like on the day of the flight, because that's a missed seat for them, you know what I mean? So yes, I think it's possible, but you have to speak to the specific airline in advance so that they can actually replace somebody, you know, to take your seats. What is the earliest time I can do my COVID test before my flight back to Nigeria? So I guess the question is like, how early to the time of the flight, the date of the flight, can you do your COVID test? So I know it's 14 days before, like 14 days before the flight is the, is it earliest or latest? I always get this confused. But basically, after 14 days, 13 days, 12 days, you can do your COVID test, but not 15 days before. It has to be as close enough to the flight date. Yes, that's the case. But I'll clarify that here so it makes sense, you know. Some of the questions now, I think, is actually quite specific to the Cotonou, flying to Nigeria through Cotonou. Right. So the first question is, so the next question here is, are we still paying $165 US at the Cotonou airport for a COVID test? Okay. To clarify here, the $165 US that this person is mentioning is if you decide to stay in Cotonou, right? But if you're transiting and you're basically going to the semi-border, like within a day of arriving in Cotonou, you do not have to pay $165 US for a COVID test. Like, that is not the case. It is written in the, there's this document that it's written in. I'll put the link below so you can see it, but by the Benin government, that you don't have to do a COVID test. So you don't let anybody confuse you, because you don't. If landing in Cotonou do we still need to do a COVID test before leaving the UK? Yes, you still need to do a COVID test. I've heard of my people saying, no, 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 you don't. Me, I'm telling you the legal way to do things, right? So if you want to go and listen to somebody else, that's your own, eh? You still need to do a COVID test before you leave the UK. But the COVID test will only be checked and should only be checked, right, when you are at the semi border to enter Nigeria. It's for Nigerian immigration to look at your test and say, okay, it's negative, so we can allow you in. That is what your COVID test is needed. That's where it's needed. Yes. Okay, next question is there any additional cost of travel through Benin to Nigeria? Okay, so I guess the question is, I bought my ticket now from London to Cotonou. Is there any other cost that I should be thinking about? Yes, there are a few things you're thinking about. There are a few things you should be thinking about. For the example I gave where my mom went through Cotonou to get back to Nigeria, she decided to stay in a hotel that night. Reason being, Air France arrived in the evening, which means you don't want to go to the semi border at night. So she stayed in a hotel, right, that night. So yes, that's one cost, the cost for the hotel. Beyond that, the taxi to take you from the airport to the hotel. This hotel is super close, so it's like really, really close. So I'd advise you to have like a couple of dollars, with you, and also the taxi to take you the next morning to the semi border. These things shouldn't be crazy expensive. I don't imagine you spending anything more than like for transportation, $30. But have $100 in your hand, but you're not going to spend that much, So those are the costs. So the hotel costs and the transportation costs. If you're doing everything legal, you shouldn't have any extra costs. But if you're trying to do things dodgy, that's when people can be asking you for bribe. So stay away from, illegal stuff. Illegal activity. Yes. All right. So next question is, what is the point of contacting the Nigerian embassy in Cotonou, Benin? So in my video that I shared, I said that before you fly to Cotonou, email the Nigerian embassy in Cotonou to inform them that you plan to cross the semi border. So someone asked me, what is the point? The point is, if you've informed them, yes, the Cotonou Benin immigration is aware. They've sent your information to them. So when you arrive on their side, they're actually expecting you. So they will allow you to cross over. Yeah, so that's why you send the email in advance. I'm sure if you don't send an email in advance, they might allow you, but if they tell you to bring $500 now, don't say Funke didn't tell you. I did. Next question is, what is the email address for the embassy, the Nigerian embassy in Benin? I'm going to drop that on the screen now and also in the description box so you guys can check it out there. Next, how much would it cost for me to get from the semi border back into Lagos? So I spoke to my mom about this and she said, you know what, first of all, try and book your transportation in advance. Try not to wait till you get to the semi border to not start booking your private transportation. Try and book it in advance. Call a cab company that that someone knows and tell them to come and meet you there and negotiate with them. Like she said, I don't know, prices fluctuate in Nigeria depending on who it is, She said expect like 20,000 naira because it's far, but it really depends on the person you negotiate with. Is the COVID test in Yaba compulsory after the initial COVID test in the UK? Yes, currently the COVID test in Yaba is compulsory, and the way they make you do this is that they actually keep your passport, so you don't get your passport back until the COVID test you do in Yaba or wherever. I don't know if it's Yaba, but wherever you do it, they'll give it back to you after 14 days if you test negative for COVID. So yes, it is compulsory unless you don't want your passport back. Is there a flight available from Oman to Cotonou? Many people send me questions about this, saying, oh, is there a flight available from China to Cotonou, from here to Cotonou? Check Skyscanner. I know Ethiopian flies to Cotonou. I know Air France flies to Cotonou. I don't know about other airlines, but just check skyscanner.com. Skyscanner.com basically is a huge search engine that has all the airlines in their portal, so they can basically find the routes for you, which airline will take you there. So just check that to know whether you can fly to Cotonou from where you are right now. Next question, is this method only for Nigerian citizens? So I guess the question's about traveling through Cotonou. Is it only for Nigerian citizens? Yes, it is. Like, I don't want to say what I do not know. It is only for Nigerian citizens right now. But if anybody else knows more about this for non-Nigerian citizens, like drop stuff in the comments, educate us, let us know, so we too can be informed. Can you recommend a hotel close to the airport in Cotonou? Yes, I can recommend a hotel, and it's one my mom stayed in, and I've stayed in it before too. It's called the Best Western. It's called the Best Western, and it's like, I think it's the Nobila something hotel, but I'll put the name in the description box to you. It's quite affordable. It's literally a stone throw from the airport. It's very close. I'll definitely recommend it. It's safe, it's clean, decent. Actually, I think I actually prefer the Best Western there than Best Western that I've tried in the US before, so it's quite good. Can I leave Nigeria to go to the UK? I think this is just a generic question. Yes, you can, because there are all these private charter flights that are now sort of flying privately, that you can jump on if you're a resident or if you're a citizen. Quite expensive, but you can do that. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope the answers to the questions has been very useful for you in your decision to travel or be evacuated back to Nigeria. I would love to hear your stories. Are you considering going back to Nigeria? Are you planning on going back to Nigeria this year at all if you're abroad? If you're in Nigeria, like, how has it been? How's COVID? How are people handling it? Yes, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope it's been helpful as usual. Don't forget to follow me here and subscribe. Don't forget to follow Travel to Nigeria and join the community on there. Thank you once again for watching the video, and I will see you guys on my next video. Bye.